Hey, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. We're going to pop in the living room in Jack's Beach, and we're in the 23rd chapter of Leviticus. And I first want to say, Happy Rosh Hashanah. I forget how to say the official, celebratory greeting that you say to somebody. But Rosh Hashanah is 2 days. It started last night, which was the 22nd at sundown. And it goes till the 24th at sundown. So it's today and then half of tomorrow, all day today. And it's the New Year, but we're gonna learn about that today. Because we're going to be talking about regulations for Israel's appointed times, and that's what Rosh Hashanah is one of. The Lord spoke to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and tell them, these are the Lord's appointed times, which you must proclaim as holy assemblies, my appointed times." And remember, holy means set apart to God. So first is the weekly Sabbath. 6 days work may be done, but on the seventh day there must be a Sabbath of complete rest, a holy assembly. You must not do any work. It is the Sabbath to the Lord in all the places where you live. So this is no matter where you go. We're out here in the desert hearing this. When you get to the Holy Land, when you live in a walk-up apartment in New York City, wherever, someplace in Asia, you're supposed to do this every week. So what people do early on Friday in traditional Jewish homes is they prepare all the food that will be for dinner, breakfast, lunch, and the next dinner. They prepare it all so that they don't work. And I'm not going to get into it because I could spend 2 weeks doing this one chapter, but this comes up. Jesus talks about the Sabbath, and he says that the Sabbath, he wasn't made for the Sabbath. The Sabbath was made for him. And he's our rest. We don't have to do this every week. Traditionally, Christians celebrate the Sabbath on Sunday, but you're going to do work and stuff. I see people cutting their lawns and driving their cars and all kinds of stuff that traditional Jews don't do. Next is the festival of Passover and unleavened bread, and they're conjoined. These are the Lord's appointed times, holy assemblies, which you must proclaim at their appointed time. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at twilight, is a Passover offering to the Lord. Then on the 15th day of the same month will be the festival of unleavened bread to the Lord. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. On the first day there will be a holy assembly for you. You must not do any regular work. So the first day of Passover is the Sabbath. You must present a gift to the Lord for 7 days. And the seventh day is a holy assembly. You must not do any regular work. So there's a Sabbath and another Sabbath. And if there's a Friday, Saturday in between, then there's a couple Sabbaths. So the next one is the festival of first fruits. This is a harvest festival. The Lord spoke to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and tell them, when you enter the land that I am about to give to you, and you gather in its harvest, then you must bring the sheaf of the first portion of your harvest to the priest, and he must wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for your benefit." And I'm pretty sure that this is what we call the day of Pentecost. And on Pentecost, right after Jesus, the Passover lamb, was sacrificed and then rose from the dead. Then, I think it's 40 days later, was Pentecost, and that was when the Holy Spirit like descended on all the believers and they started speaking in tongues and all kinds of stuff. Then you must bring a sheaf of the first portion of your harvest to the priest, and he must wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for your benefit. On the day after the Sabbath, the priest is to wave it. On the day you wave the sheaf, you must also offer a flawless yearling lamb for a burnt offering to the Lord, along with its grain offering, 2/10 of an ephah of choice wheat flour, mixed with olive oil as a gift to the Lord. And an ephah is a dry measurement, about 20 to 45 liters. So, wow, that's a lot. That's like 40 to 90 gallons. that doesn't make any sense. As a gift to the Lord, a soothing aroma, and its drink offering, 1/4 of a hin of wine. So that's 3.5 to 7.5 liters. So that's 7 to 15 gallons, I think. Wow. They were having a party. You must not eat bread, roasted grain, or fresh grain until this very day, until you bring the offering of your God. This is a perpetual statute throughout your generations and all the places where you live. So you can't make anything out of the wheat when you harvest it until you offer this wave offering. And now's the Festival of Weeks. You must count for yourself 7 weeks from the day after the Sabbath, from the day you bring the wave offering. So these are all related to each other. You have the Passover, and then 40 days later you have the Pentecost, which is the first fruits. And now we're going to have the Festival of Weeks. And I think this is Sukkot, but we'll see. You must count for yourselves 7 weeks from the day after the Sabbath, from the day you bring the wave offering. They must be complete weeks. You must count 50 days until the day after the 7th Sabbath, and then you must present a new grain offering to the Lord. From the places where you live, you must bring 2 loaves of bread for a wave offering. They must be made from 2 lengths of an ephah of fine wheat flour, baked with yeast. So this is different than Passover, as first fruits to the Lord. Along with the loaves of bread, you must also present 7 flawless yearling lambs, 1 young bull, and 2 rams. They are to be a burnt offering to the Lord, along with their grain offering and drink offerings, a gift of a soothing aroma to the Lord. You must also offer 1 male goat for a sin offering and 2 yearling lambs for a peace offering sacrifice. And the priest is to wave them, the 2 lambs. You're waving that like, woo. have to have some big biceps. Along with the bread of the first fruits as a wave offering before the Lord. They will be holy to the Lord for the priest. So the priest gets to eat that. On this very day, you must proclaim an assembly. It is to be a holy assembly for you. You must not do any regular work. This is a perpetual statute in all the places where you live throughout your generations. When you gather in the harvest of your land, you must not completely harvest a corner of your field, and you must not gather up the gleanings of your harvest. You must leave them for the poor and the follower. I am the Lord your God. And now we're going to do the festival of the hornblast. So this one, it's the blowing of the shofar. Shofar is a ram's horn. It's skinny at one end, and then, well, it looks like a ram's horn. It kind of twirls around, and they go. The Lord spoke to Moses, tell the Israelites in the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, you must have a complete rest, a memorial announced by loud horn blasts, a holy assembly. You must not do any regular work. You must present a gift, but you must present a gift to the Lord. So in this one, it's not as much stuff, but you still have to take the day off, complete rest. And I think that actually what we call that is the Festival of Trumpets. Now the Day of Atonement. The Lord spoke to Moses, the 10th day of the 7th month is the Day of Atonement. It is to be a whole, and so that's, it just slipped. This is Rosh Hashanah today, and that's, it'll come to me. The 10th day of the 7th month is the Day of Atonement. It is to be a holy assembly for you, and you must humble yourselves and present a gift to the Lord. You must not do any work on this particular day, because it is a day of atonement, to make atonement for yourselves before the Lord your God. This is the big one in, it's Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement in Hebrew. And this is the big one. This is like Easter for us. Even though Easter is based on Passover, this is the holiest day of the year, and they actually fast. I forget if that's in here, that they fast, but you must not do any work on this particular day, because it is a day of atonement, to make atonement for yourselves before the Lord your God. Indeed, any person who does not behave with humility on this particular day will be cut off from the people. So you have to actually be humble, or now you're camping out and you're going to die. You're going to be attacked by some wild animals and eaten out in the desert. As for the person who does any work on this particular day, I will exterminate that person from the midst of his people. You must not do any work. This is a perpetual statute throughout your generations in all the places where you live. It is a Sabbath of complete rest for you, and you must humble yourselves on the 9th day of the month in the evening. From evening until evening, you must observe your Sabbath. So now, this is Booths. So the other one, Festival of Weeks, was not Sukkot. The Lord spoke to Moses, tell the Israelites, on the 15th day of this 17th month is the Festival of Temporary Shelters. So that's, we call it, when I was growing up, they called this Tabernacles, the Festival of Tabernacles. We'll read it and then I'll explain a little bit about it. Tell the Israelites, on the 15th day of the 7th month is the Festival of Temporary Shelters for 7 days to the Lord. On the 1st day is a holy assembly. You must do no regular work. For 7 days you must present a gift to the Lord. On the 8th day there is to be a holy assembly for you, and you must present a gift to the Lord. It is a solemn assembly day. You must not do any regular work. These are the appointed times of the Lord that you must proclaim as holy assemblies to present a gift to the Lord. burnt offering, grain offering, sacrifice, and drink offerings each day according to its regulation, besides the Sabbaths of the Lord and all your gifts, votive offerings, and free will offerings, which you must give to the Lord. And so booths or sukkot, they build these things called sukkahs. They don't have a roof really. They just have like palm leaves over the top of the roof, and they look like a little shed. They take them apart and put them back together every year. You used to go to Shalom Pizza out near grandmother's in West Philly, and they would actually have a giant sukkah in the back of the place, and so that people would eat, because you ate all your meals in that sukkah. And I think if you're an Orthodox Jew, that you sleep out there. I could be wrong. On the 15th day of the seventh month, when you gather in the produce of the land, you must celebrate a pilgrim festival of the Lord for 7 days. On the first day is a complete rest, and on the 8th day is a complete rest. On the first day you must take for yourselves branches from majestic trees, palm branches, branches of leafy trees, and willows of the brook, and you must rejoice before the Lord your God for 7 days. You must celebrate it as a pilgrim festival to the Lord for 7 days in the year. And this looks back to when they were wandering through the wilderness for 40 years. For 7 days a year. This is a perpetual statute throughout your generations. You must celebrate it in the 7th month. You must live in temporary shelters for 7 days. Every native citizen in Israel must live in temporary shelters, so that your future generations may know that I made the Israelites live in temporary shelters when I brought them out from the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. So Moses spoke to the Israelites about the appointed times of the Lord. Amen. Peace out.